Alright, welcome back to Shaving with Fuzzy. I'm Fuzzy. Hi, y'all, on Monday afternoon. So, actually had the weekend off. I had too much time off last week. Ain't made no money. But anyway, my short week, and the new manager is getting the schedule straightened out, and he was able to do it without overtime. So, more power to him. Doesn't really help the old bank account, but that's okay too. Still waiting to get the expedition in the shop to get the AC fixed. Matter of fact, come to think of it, I need to call the shop here just a little while. See, make sure they ain't forgot me. Got me a big old cup here that my sister got me a Key West. And French pressed some coffee today. It's a really, really stout. You can probably hear it barking in the background. That ain't the dog, that's my coffee. But anyway, so yesterday my brother and sister-in-law came to town. Always great to see them. We have a good time. Go out and have a bite to eat. They didn't want sandwiches or fish. I like my po' boys and I like my catfish and stuff. But anyway, we went to a Chinese buffet. Pretty decent. Food was pretty good. Wasn't too crowded. But he had told me he had brought me something when we were eating, and when we walked out and left, he went out to the car and got me this. What is this, do you say? Well, this is the Rolls Razor set, the Traveler. And the hone is in perfect shape. The strop's in perfect shape. Everything is there. I have had Rolls Razors, but the hone's always been cracked and all that kind of good stuff. So it's a complete set. Even has a new blade right there. What I'm assuming is a new blade. So over on Toast3, TOST3.com, I did a little post on it and put some pictures up if you'd like to see all the pictures of everything. So I ran the blade over the strop, over the hone and the strop and everything. I don't expect it to shave. Most of them, even in good shape, they'd need a honing before they were ready to go. So I do not expect it to shave. However, we're going to give it a whirl and see what we come up with. So what I have in the background, what I was planning on shaving with a Schick L. I thought I'd break out a stick Schick. Somebody asked for an L or an M shave. And I thought I would break out the stick Schick or the grip or something like that, which has an L head. And I was looking around and I found an L, just a Schick L. So if the Rolls shave doesn't work, we're going to switch over to a Schick L, and that's going to be the shave. Excuse me. If we can get a shave out of the Rolls, then the L will be for next time. But we're going to try. We're going to use some Razzle Rock Triple X. I don't use Razzle Rock enough. I've got so much stuff, but the Razzle Rock is really. And I was also digging around, and I found my old favorite 1305 Smog. That's my favorite brush. I like the big Omegas and things of that nature, but I think the 1305 is just the perfect size. And of course, everybody remembers it got customized by Miss Luna, the Boona. Miss Luna is the Luna most bonus to them all. I tell her that all the time. She got a bath last night, and my partner's been over for over a week, so we, partner and I have been walking them, and so she got her a walk this morning. Hash Brown's actually feeling better. I don't know if it's spring or what, but the old boy, he got to where he didn't want to go outside much. Now we can get him to go outside, and sometimes he even walks out on his own. This morning he headed right on out, was ready to go. All right, so we did a little wipe down there. I'm not over the top on prep, as anybody that knows me for very long knows. I used to be on that train, but I'm really not anymore. Oh, just so you can see, I do got a couple of days worth of growth there. I worked Friday evening, so I shaved midday Friday. And I've been off. We were supposed to have an event I was going to work at on Saturday, but the client over there hosts a lot of public service type events, and And when people need a big space to hold something, like a little 5K run or a cancer walk, that kind of stuff, we host a lot of that kind of stuff. And we were going to do that, but the weather was supposed to be bad. And as it turned out, it really wasn't that bad. So, sure, a lot of people were disappointed when that got canceled, but I think at the time it was the right decision. Looked like it was. Sometimes that's the way weather goes. All right, well, let's see what we get with the Rolls razors. Now, Rolls razor has been known to be called, it's got a floating safety bar there, and it is known to be called a straight on a stick. Now, there's a lot of different razors that get that kind of nomenclature, but this really is. It just looks like I cut off a piece of they put that little floating guide on there, and I don't know. No, we're not doing anything at all with the blade here. It's not. I mean, it's not that it's dragging and pulling and carrying on. It's just that it's not really doing anything. Now, is it a me problem? Is it an angle problem? Yeah, well, could be. But anyway, nope. We're not going to get a shave out of that one until I can get it to somebody. Now, eventually, I'll get it to somebody that can hone it for me, and then we'll do that again. But it's not going to work. It's a beautiful set, and I really appreciate it. I was really happy when I saw it, because like I said, I didn't have a complete, and with the outer case that makes it the Traveler and the spare blade, that's really something neat. All right, so switching gears, we're still going to get a shave out of it. So the L, that's an L. And that's an L. And this is the stick Schick, the one that's got, looks like the gear shift. And they made one that looked like a tennis racket handle, the grip. And then they had one that was red, white, and blue. And if I'm not mistaken, what do they call the one that looked like a butter knife? The Paul Revere? Because it looked like a silver worked butter knife. But anyway, those are all L's. So we're just going to use an L. And I put a new one of these blades in it. Some I bought here a while back. And if I'm not mistaken, where's my glasses? If I'm not mistaken, I picked these up over in Lafayette at the Drug Emporium, over there where we always like to get stuff. So imported by Personal Care of Canada. So I guess these are Canadian. I thought maybe these were the ones they used to call the Chicks that were made in China. But this, yeah, here it is. Schick and Jet are made in China. So these are the famed Chicks. Everybody likes Chicks. The Chinese-made Chicks, good and sharp. But an L, people always want to know how the different Schick shave. They shave like Schicks. It's not a bad one. Now I haven't shaved with an O, and the O may be different. But remember, shaving is 90% technique. Once you have a sharp blade and you have something to hold the blade where you can adjust and keep continuous angle and pressure, you can get a shave. You can glue a blade on a stick and use it like a straight razor as long as it's held tight enough. There's videos. You know, I don't remember exactly when I did the video, but I got a video of me shaving with a blade that was glued on a stick. But anyway, I didn't even use a popsicle stick. I wouldn't cut a twig off a tree. But Schick shave like sticks. The older models, the E's and the G's are my favorite. Mostly because I really like vintage stuff more. But also I think a lot of those have a different blade feel. I think you get more blade feel. If they got into the newer, more modern ones, I think they lost some of the blade feel. They feel milder. They still, however, do a really, really good job. And it also varies by razor. I've got a G8 Schick is one of the most aggressive filling razors I have of any style. Two-sided thingy, single edge, whatever. I've got an E2, an early model E2 with the head that opens, and it's the same way. It feels like a monster. And then I've got other E models, and I've got other G8s, and I've got other stuff that just don't feel as aggressive. So it comes down sometimes to the individual razor too. But overall, the older Schicks, like the E's, and this is the that's a pile. That's not a Schick. Like these, the G8s, those are generally have more blade feel. I like the adjustable Schick, the M model. They look like this. I like them. That was something else somebody had mentioned about seeing an L or M, so we're gonna use the L. It's doing a fine job. But the M has a nice feel to it. So sometimes you just have to get one and see what it feels like, even though you know you like a certain model. Like, well, I like the G's. Like, well, that's great, but some of the G's are going to feel different from other of the G's. Not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. All right. Put on up here for our second run of the day. Now, if you're using the adjustable M, remember it's just like any other adjustable. The appropriate setting is wide open and leave it there. Turn it up, leave it up, turn it loose. All this twisting knobs on adjustable, that was a marketing thing. Totally unnecessary. To me, it's actually silly. You know, there's no such thing as a razor that's too aggressive. You can have bad technique, or you can have not good enough technique. Now, I can see that. There's no such thing as saying a razor itself is just too aggressive. Oh, sensitive skin and heavy beard, and all I can use is a brand new feather. Once and done. I gotta throw it away after that. Well, I doubt your abilities if that's all you can do with a feather blade. Now, I'm not a big fan of feather. I think they're overly sharp, and I think they actually dull too quick. Personal feelings, but anyway, blade's a blade, a razor's a razor, but there are some blades, they all have a little difference in them, and everybody thinks that makes a big difference, and it really doesn't. All the little differences are ironed out by your technique. Like sometimes driving, you know, you have people that can drive a vehicle and really can't get it to work, and somebody else takes that exact vehicle, and I don't mean an identical model, I mean the exact vehicle, and they can get it to work just fine because they have better driving skills or whatever. Maybe if you're on farming or whatever, you got somebody that's better at driving a tractor and you go out and can't get the work out of it. I've had that happen when I was a lot younger. I couldn't get the work out of it. I'd blame the equipment. And then somebody else who did have the proper skills would go out right behind me, and the thing would plow straight, and it wasn't hard to turn, and you know, it didn't overheat or whatever the problems were. I couldn't drive anything straight. I still can't drive. I can't walk straight. I can't pass a field sobriety test, walk a white line dead sober, which I'm 99.99.99% of the time sober. That I basically don't drink, but I can't do that. But so fields that I used to run a disc in, especially if I was running at night, by daylight they look pretty funky. Somebody'd run out there real quick and run around and straighten them up, making them look not so bad, is usually what would happen. But, you know, there you go. All righty. let's have a look after our 2 passes here with the L, the Schick L, and you'll see it cleaned everything up. Just a wonderful, wonderful shave. Now, Schick razors, in my opinion, and some of y'all may agree and some of you may not, if you're coming out of cart garbage, plastic cart garbage blades, modern plastic cart garbage, which is what you should be trying to get away from, nobody should be using that junk. An injector razor like this is probably the closest thing to using it. You still have to, that was witch hazel we just put on to get our cleanup pad. You still have to have your technique. You still have to use it properly, but I think it's easier with a injector style razor, the Schicks. Now when you get into the Debs and you get into the H, that's a little bit different thing. And we need to shave. We hadn't shaved one of those in a long time. We need to get around that. Oh, got a little rust spot right under that jawline. Putting the witch hazel on helps you feel that. Oh yeah, they got that cleaned up. So it's I think it's easier to come from cart garbage using an injector razor than it is to jump in on something else. But it's all still angle and pressure. It's not like it's a real big deal. Razor's a razor, blade's a blade. So there we go. Unfortunately, the Rolls razor did not shave. However, it is a very good looking set. If you like those, like I said, TOST3.com is where you go to have a look at it. I did a post. It's a section called Other SE Brands, I think. Single edge brands, and be right in there. All right, well, that's what I got for today. I got work this afternoon. We work 12s on Mondays still. So I'm going to go in and put in my 12 to start my week. Then I'll be working overnights this week. So maybe we'll get back through for another shave towards the end of the week. We'll see. I appreciate 2 or 3 of y'all that still come through and watch videos. And if you ever want to pop over to Toast3, TOST3.com, there's a lot of good information there. And there's links there to the old sites. There's also 2 other old sites, the Original Safety and Original Safety 2, that were no longer posted. They're just archives over on a free site. So there's links to get over there, and there's absolutely tons of information. Even though Toast is a really, really, really slow site these days, it used to be a lot bigger before I ran everybody off. And there's a lot of really good single edge razor and injector razor. That's all we do, single edge injector razors. There's no double edge, they're unmentionable. No straight razors, they're unmentionables. And but anyway, so pop over sometime. Y'all have a good afternoon. Hope everything's going good for you. You cleaned up here. Witch hazel helps with any kind of irritation you would get. Although, as you can see, there's no irritation from that shave. We're going to finish up today feeling a little British because I was digging around and ran across my Pashana. There you go. Pashana aftershave. That's what we're going to wear to work tonight. And it's really, really, really nice, in my opinion, aftershave. All right, y'all have a good one. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, happy shaves to you.